All right, we are day 10 at our stay-at-home work. We are going to go over our questions. We're going to go over our vocabulary. Um, we're going to talk a little bit prior to the test, and then I'm going to give you a rundown of how this test is going to work today. Okay, so let's get started. Day 1 says, which of the following is the best definition for surge? On page 181. So the best definition would have been C, which it would have been increase. Now, if I go to page 181, no, it's not 181 for us. It would be 174. I'm sorry. Because remember, we've got a different version of the book. I should have caught that yesterday. So I apologize. Those of you who didn't find surge, this is your opportunity to fix that, okay? So on page 174, the very first paragraph, it says surge. And I said that surge means increase. And my answer part would be, I feel that it is C because on page 174, paragraph 1, it says a surge of hope. Because he missed music, missed sounds, missed hearing another voice. So I'm thinking that when he says he has a surge of hope, that he has an increased thought that, oh my gosh, it's a radio. I can hear something or somebody that would almost be companionable at this point because he has to be so unbelievably lonely. So that was my explanation. Number 2, tell why Brian is glad to have soap in the survival pack. So my restate is, he is glad to have soap from the survival pack because even though he's been bathing in the lake, he hasn't really had anything to help make him clean. So let's think about that. Our evidence is on page 174, and it says, he thought how wonderful it would be to wash his hair. Thick with grime and smoked dirt, frizzed by wind and sun, matted with fish and full-bird grease. His hair had grown and stuck and tangled and grown until it was a clumped mess on his head. So he's excited to get this soap so that he can finally feel clean. Now, I don't know about you all, but a couple of days of not washing my hair, I feel like my head's just itching off. I don't get like greasy hair, but you can tell that it's a little limp, it's lifeless. But this young man has been there over 2 months. So imagine just the filth and the grossness of that. All right, number 3. How does the arrival of the plane affect Brian? And that is our end in mind question. So we're looking at the cause is there is an arrival of a plane. And now how is he being affected by that? And on page 177, to me, this one is a little hard. And I'm just it's really hard. If I look at page 177, I've got his tongue seemed to be stuck to the roof of his mouth and his throat didn't work right. And he looked at the pilot and the plane and down at himself. And then he coughed to clear his throat. And he says, would you like to come and eat? So what that tells me is that he's affected initially by, he's stunned. He's been hoping and wishing for this moment, and now it's here. The evidence that supports that he's stunned is his tongue seemed to be stuck to the roof of his mouth, and his throat didn't work right. So when we think about, I in my life have never been that stunned where I can't communicate or I can't talk. So that's a pretty big deal here. And last but not least, what does Brian's response to the pilot tell us or tell you about Brian? What is it's really telling us is that, you know, he's inviting him to come up and eat. You know, are you hungry? I think that's what he says. Would you like something to eat? On page 177. So what this is telling us about Brian is that he's grown and he's matured, because someone else might have been like, oh, and start crying and run and like hug his neck and or pass out. That would be me, and I'm 51. But Brian has grown and matured, so he's thinking, all right, I'm good. I'm finally going to leave, but I got this food. You want to come eat before we leave? So his self-confidence and the maturity level is there. All right, let's look at our questions. Not a question, but our vocabulary. The blank stream carried a lot of mud. That would be murky. I was blank through my notes, looking for the answer when the teacher called on me. Rummaging is the correct response. 3, I hope I can get through my speech with my dignity intact. The blank buzzing of the mosquitoes was very annoying. That would be incessant. The blank hamster ran in his wheel for a long time. The frenzied. I feel my curfew is blank strict because I have to be in the house at 7 p.m. The answer is unduly. 7, some believe that humans do not have any blank behaviors because we learn everything. That would be instinctive. 8, Sandy wanted to blank the table setting, so she made fancy shapes with the napkins. That would be refine. All right, so here's my thing. Today is day 10, which is Friday. Now, I have purposely had not built your test into Google Classroom until now, because I didn't want you working on it until today. Now, you will have until tomorrow at midnight to finish it. After Saturday at midnight, I will not accept them at all, because I know who does and does not have internet access. The kids that do not have internet access, I've already made accommodations for them. So the expectation is this is done via Google Classroom. Has to be done by Saturday at midnight. That will allow me spring break to get them all scored, because you got to remember, guys, there are 88 of you testing Friday. So I will need that time. It'll take me, 2 or 3 days to get through all of those. You cannot use your notes, just like class. It's not open book. You cannot use your team talk. Cannot use your vocabulary. I'm not there to watch you. So it's an honor system. And you have to think about what your moral compass is telling you. If you can cheat and not feel guilty about it, that's between you and yourself. You're on the honor system. I don't know any other thing to do. When I call your parents, because I'll be making phone calls this week, that'll be something that I'll be explaining to them, that test day is here, and that you are not allowed to use these things. If I do not call you personally, then it'll be Miss Hammonds or Miss Bowles. I think they're going to be we're going to be calling homerooms this week, and not necessarily everyone. So I'm going to send them a message to see if they won't let your parents be aware of that. So your test should be up. So I'm just going to say good luck and enjoy the week off. I am. Bye.